Victor von Doom, once the feared ruler of Latveria, the scarred genius who challenged gods with science and sorcery, now stood enthroned as God Emperor Doom, the supreme architect of a stitched-together multiverse known only as Battleworld. With power stolen from the Beyonders and the will to wield it, Doom had reshaped all existence into his own divine design. Mountains bowed, stars spun to his whims, time itself was a chained beast, howling in the dark beneath his obsidian throne. He was more than man, more than God. He was everything in this rewritten cosmos. Pantheons of gods, empires of men, and legacies of heroes had been unraveled and rewoven into a single patchwork dominion. Only fragments of memory remained, echoes of former realities whispered in dreams and myths. Even the most powerful beings, Galactus, Mephisto, the Celestials, had either been annihilated, enslaved, or reduced to obedient fragments of Doom's vision. But power, true cosmic power, never goes unnoticed. Beyond the veil of this constructed dominion, beyond dimensions that mortals could never fathom, an ancient consciousness stirred. It had no beginning, no end. A tri-faced entity that existed to safeguard the balance of all things. The Living Tribunal. He was the cosmic judge, higher than any known god. His three faces, equity, necessity, and vengeance, each passing verdicts beyond morality or sentiment. He had condemned entire dimensions, and now, for the first time in eons, he felt uncertainty. The natural order had not just been disrupted, it had been dismembered and grafted into a mockery. This battle world was a violation, an abomination of balance. One being, Victor Doom, had usurped the role of not just gods but the laws themselves. And so the tribunal descended. The stars of Battleworld dimmed. The skies split open with a wound of golden light. As the tribunal entered the constructed cosmos, reality trembled. Doom meditating alone atop the world, tree that connected the realms of his artificial kingdom, opened his glowing green eyes. The presence wasn't just powerful, it was ancient authority, distilled into a being of unbearable gravity. A voice echoed not in the air, but across the concepts of space and judgment. Victor von Doom, your crime is known. You have seized the power of the Beyonders and refashioned existence in your own image. You have abolished balance. You have crowned yourself as God. The scales demand correction. Doom rose from his throne of bone and energy. His white cloak fluttered in an artificial breeze as he stared into the vast heavens. With a gesture, the mountains bowed lower, the oceans stilled, and Battleworld listened. You call it a crime. I call it salvation. Doom's voice rolled like thunder soaked in venom. The multiverse was dying. I forged it anew. Where were you when everything fell apart, Tribunal? Where were your judgments when chaos reigned? The tribunal's three faces rotated, their eyes burning with impartial fire. Observation, not intervention. That is my charge. Balance must be preserved, not chosen. You are not balance. You are tyranny incarnate. Doom's mask flickered for a moment. Whether in fury or pride, none could say. He raised his hand and with a thought, called forth a manifestation of his full might. From the sunless skies, colossal chains of green energy whipped into the air. Mountains lifted and merged into a towering cosmic palace behind him. Dozens of gods, those remnants he had chained, stood ready at his side. Galactus, now his servant, loomed behind him like a dark sentinel. You dare judge me in the kingdom I built from ash and void? Doom thundered, his voice a sonic wave of pure ego. I'm the architect of this reality. I'm not one to be judged, I am the judgment. You were a man once, intoned the tribunal. Even now you remain a man wrapped in stolen majesty. But even stolen power echoes with the truth of its source. And the Beyonders were not yours to tame. The tribunal extended his hand, and in that moment, Battleworld cracked. A single gesture from the tribunal was not an attack, it was an indictment. The very foundations of Doom's creation began to unravel. The sky tore open like fragile paper, revealing a glimpse of the true multiverse. Countless stars, shattered timelines, dead universes screaming. Doom felt the weight of it. The tribunal's presence was pressing against his soul, trying to pull apart the seams of his godhood. Enough! Doom bellowed. He surged into the sky, no longer seated but ascending like a white meteor. Green power coiling around him like vipers. His power wasn't just magic or science. It was omnipotence woven from stolen essence, and Doom wielded it with terrifying precision. He launched the first strike, a spear of compressed cosmic matter, dense enough to rupture neutron stars. The tribunal absorbed it without flinching. Doom conjured a black hole and hurled it like a javelin, then summoned an army of temporal clones from 1,000. Alternate dooms, the tribunal's eyes, flared with judgment, and time collapsed around the clones, erasing them from all histories. Still, Doom pressed forward. He refused to be judged. As the battle began to boil across the heavens, distant watchers trembled. Watu, the Watcher, hidden behind celestial mist, whispered, "This is the moment the gods feared. A battle of absolutes, of stolen divinity versus ancient equilibrium." And far below, in the cracks of Battleworld, a fracture formed. A boy who once remembered being Reed Richards looked up with horror, realizing the price of Doom's ascension was finally catching up with him. But Doom didn't care. He had faced death, hell, and gods. Now he would face the tribunal itself, not as a supplicant, but as a rival. And only one truth would remain standing. The heavens convulsed. Where once hung stars and silence, now flared storms of unfathomable energy. The duel between God Emperor, Doom, and the living. Tribunal had begun, and it was no mere exchange of power, but a war of concepts, where every blow rewritten the laws of reality, and every defense reasserted them. Doom struck first, summoning the heart of the multiverse, condensed into a spiraling sigil that seared through cosmic space. The tribunal countered not with power, but law, invoking a commandment from before time. No one may hold all power, lest they unravel all creation. The spell shattered, unraveling into motes of memory that faded like forgotten dreams. But Doom was not done. He stretched forth his hand, and entire realities obeyed. Battleworld rippled as Doom merged 1,000 possible timelines into a single weapon. The blade of what might have been, forged from failed futures and sacrificed destinies. He slashed through space itself, and even the tribunal's golden form cracked beneath the impossible weapon. Yet the tribunal endured. Three faces turned in unison. Equity wept, necessity frowned, vengeance roared. You wield stolen threads and call yourself creator. But creation obeys not fear, it demands balance. The tribunal raised one arm, and infinity itself became a shield, forged from the pure force of cosmic balance. Doom's blade struck it with a shriek that tore open 4 dimensions in every direction. Civilizations light years away vanished in the shockwave. Galaxies blinked out and reignited like fireflies in a storm. Still they clashed. Doom summoned Galactus, bound and loyal. "Feed on the tribunal," Doom commanded. Galactus surged forward, his hunger enhanced by Doom's divine will. But the tribunal spoke a single name, Ego Nullius, and Galactus was undone. He crumbled to dust, not just physically, but across every version of himself. Enraged, Doom unleashed the power primordial, the Eternity Mask, and fragments of the Phoenix Force, each artifact cracked and infused with Doom's dark will. He wrapped himself in the skin of the Beyonders, the very energy that once made him a god. Around him spun dead time, looping seconds of alternate futures to trap the tribunal in causal paradox. But the tribunal was not a being of time. He was a law personified. With a single gaze from his vengeance face, the tribunal incinerated Doom's paradox loop. With a breath from his equity face, he restored the burned civilizations left in the wake of their war. And with a gesture from his necessity face, he spoke Doom's name into the void of final judgment. Victor Von Doom, you are not God. You are an interruption, and you shall be sentenced as such. Doom roared, not in pain, but in wrath. I am more than you ever dared to be. I gave order to a dying creation. He ripped open the first firmament, draining the ancient essence of the very first cosmos, letting its primal will feed his core. A white glow overtook him, and he became a blinding godstorm, crackling with origin itself. For a moment, a terrifying, brief moment, Doom was greater than the Tribunal. The Tribunal staggered. Doom struck with a fist that unmade planets, screamed with a voice that shattered logic, and declared, "Kneel, Judge, or I shall rewrite your faces in my image." The Tribunal flickered, his golden body fracturing. The three faces blinked, and then a fourth face appeared. The hidden face, the one never shown, the face of ultimate balance. It opened its eye, and the war changed. Doom froze. Every stolen power, the Beyonders, the heart, the phoenix, the firmament, was rejected. Not attacked, not destroyed, just returned, not to others, but to their rightful cosmic places, as if the universe itself had corrected an equation gone wrong. Doom screamed in agony as his godhood slipped away, not shattered but unacknowledged. The Tribunal had not destroyed his power, it had simply refused to validate it. "You held the pen," whispered the hidden face, "but you were never the author." And with that, Doom fell. The white cloak tattered, the mask cracked, the power gone. He plummeted from the burning skies of Battleworld like a meteor of shame and fury. His fall carved a trench across the landscape of his own creation. The Tribunal descended, not as a conqueror, but as balance restored. Battleworld cracked, splintered, and then dissolved. Its domains unraveled into their original universes, each returning to its own path. Memories came back. Heroes awoke. The multiverse, wounded but alive, resumed its pulse. Victor Von Doom knelt alone in the ashes of what he had made. A man again. Not even a ruler, just Victor. The Tribunal stood above him. There is no shame in being man. There is only shame in pretending you were more while forgetting what you were. And then, with a pulse of light, the Tribunal vanished. In the Watcher's citadel, Uatu chronicled the tale, his voice grave. Thus ended the War of the Verdicts, the day a man dared to stand as God and found himself, judged not by might, but by meaning. And though Doom fell, his myth did not. For in the multiverse, even the humbled can rise again, as long as they remember.